My name is Kimmel, and I am currently serving as First Lady of the municipality of Anchorage. I have a history of having worked in the Department of Political Science at the University of Alaska, Anchorage, and I have also been a practicing attorney in this community. Knowledge is power, and when we know who's here and what people are doing and how they're contributing, we expand our opportunities exponentially. The University of Alaska is a critical driver of that knowledge. And the fact that when I reached out to Chad, the very first thing he thought of was we could bring a university student into updating the actual data and research. It's evidence to me of the power of that resource, of the university as a research resource that then enables all these other amazing things to cascade. From those little bits of data, we can then create, again, a sense of identity, really good policies that maximize our opportunities. But the university is at the core of that, and Chad knew that. And at the core of the university are its students. So it's really important every chance we get to bring in undergraduate students so that they can begin to see the impacts of their work. It's not just research sitting in a library or crunching numbers that the American Community Survey has maybe put together, but it really has a major impact in the way that we're moving throughout the world. I think as an immigration lawyer, I'd always been aware of the incredible diversity of our city, but there'd never really been numbers or evidence of that fact. And so it was really nice for the first time ever to actually have what I'd seen anecdotally documented and evidence provided for our rich diversity and the amount of cultures and languages that we have in our community. So Chad's work really, I think, burst out to the national scene in about 2015. And it then took another iteration when he started documenting the diversity of our schools, our public schools. When my husband became mayor, we started using the data that Chad was producing as a basis for a brand new initiative that we started called Welcoming Anchorage. And the whole purpose of Welcoming Anchorage is to make sure that our community is inclusive and that we're welcoming newcomers to our city, whether they're from rural communities or from halfway around the world. And as part of changing the discourse about becoming a more welcoming community, it can't just be about changing laws and changing policies. It needs to be about changing the information that we rely on when we create these policies and practices. And so understanding who's in our community was vital to that. And then the second step of that was understanding what the contributions of people in our community are. So we used Chad's research as a jumping off point to really dive deeper into issues of economics and who's making our city's economy run. And what we found is that foreign-born Alaskans are really positively, disproportionately benefiting our city's and state's economy. I think what Chad has helped us do is really discover who we are as a city. And I think that one of the things we are most proud of in this city is our diversity. And diversity can be a hollow word, but what we've been able to do because of his research is really activate that sense of identity. So we've been able to make sure that people can be engaged. The Mountain View example is a great example. So Mountain View is a place that I think is typically stereotyped as a dangerous place to be, as a poor part of town. It's been historically pretty marginalized. And I think based on Chad's research and the work that has happened, building on his research, is Mountain View has really begun to embrace its own identity as one of the most diverse parts of our city and really capitalize on that identity. I mean, you drive through Mountain View now and you get all kinds of restaurant options, you get the most amazing grocery store. There's a brand new farmer's market right next to the farmer's market is a refugee garden. And so it's really beginning to turn these statistics into an asset and turning the information into power. And so as we look to who we are and really seek to build on that and take pride in who we are as Anchorage residents and as Alaskans, that information becomes pivotal to us. It gives us the tools to be able to talk to ourselves, but also outsiders who don't understand that we are among the most diverse cities in the country. It changes the dialogue and the way that people think of us, and it changes the way we think of ourselves. Currently, I'm working at the Anchorage Museum and trying to build a research and scholarship project there and program there. So we're creating these incredible strategic partnerships between major institutions in our city so that we can make sure that we've got the data that we need to inform the policies that we create, that really, again, I think the role of the museum is to help understand who we are and to figure out different ways of expressing who we are. So the relationship between the university and the museum is only increasing, and we're hoping that this relationship in terms of faculty fellows just explodes, because the museum has great resources at its disposal and the university has great researchers, and so it just makes so much sense to bring those two together.